A tight-knit group of 5 friends set out for a weekend adventure along the remote trails of the North Cascades.
Before we continue, it would honestly make my day if you'd hit that subscribe button. Also, I'd love to know where you're tuning in from, so please drop a comment below.
It was supposed to be legendary, a hike no one would forget. Instead, they vanished. Their blue van sat untouched at the trailhead, the only clue left in a case that would baffle authorities and haunt the families they left behind. But what really happened to them in those rugged mountains? The truth would prove stranger and far darker than anyone could imagine. For 5 agonizing years, their relatives clung to hope. Search teams combed the wilderness, but not a single trace surfaced. It was as if the mountains themselves had swallowed them whole. Then, fate intervened. A wildlife photographer piloting a drone deep into an off-limits valley stumbled across an image that changed everything. A tattered tent, and a wisp of smoke where no one should have survived. What the lens revealed shattered old theories and opened the door to something unthinkable. A postcard on Ava Chen's table showed a misty forest. For Ava, it wasn't a souvenir. It was a daily reminder of the trip that had taken her brother Leo. At 7:45 one drizzling evening in Seattle, she waited, heart pounding, counting the minutes since his last promised check-in. Leo was the group's rock. He was always texting updates, cracking jokes from the trail, never missing a call. But this time, his line stayed quiet. And with every passing hour, Ava felt a growing dread she couldn't explain away. Could something have happened? Or was this just another mountain misadventure? As the rain drummed harder, the silence pressed in, and her nerves began to unravel. The last text from Leo still glowed on her screen. A shot of all 5 friends at the trailhead that morning, arms slung across shoulders, grins wide beneath towering firs. He was flanked by Ben, the joker behind the coffee counter. Sam, the massive-hearted teacher with a knack for making anyone smile. Chloe, talented and restless, sketchbook poking from her pack. And Maya, the team medic, always ready for anything the wild might throw at them. They looked unstoppable, poised for the challenge ahead. But the adventures they planned that day would never come to pass. By 9 that night, worry became panic. Ava dialed the ranger station, voice quivering as she laid out the facts. 5 experienced hikers, missing since morning. Their van was still parked, their gear intact, and not a word had come through since sunrise. The ranger on the other end reassured her delays were common, especially with spotty cell service. But Ava couldn't shake the gnawing certainty that this was something else. Somewhere out there, far beyond the city's glow, Leo and his friends had crossed a line between ordinary and disaster. The question was, what had they stumbled into? In the command trailer the next morning, Ranger Sarah Miller frowned at the report. After 2 decades rescuing wayward hikers, she knew these mountains didn't give up secrets easily. Not for novices, and not for pros. She pored over their planned route, 20 miles through unforgiving country. Cold rivers, dark forests, landslide gullies. If something had gone wrong, they would be nearly impossible to find. But what really happened on that trail? The answer would push everyone deeper into the unknown. The sun rose, search helicopters swept the sky, dogs scoured the earth, volunteers shouted names into wind and rain. The friends' van sat, doors unlocked, wallets and phones inside. No struggle, no sign of foul play, just an eerie, untouched normalcy. It seemed they'd stepped off the map into thin air. But the mountain was just beginning to reveal its secrets. and nothing would prepare the searchers for what lay ahead. Days blurred together as the search escalated. Rangers from across the region combed the area, their voices swallowed by thick fog and rushing water. The forest devoured every theory and clue. Families gathered in a makeshift operations center. Anxiety and hope mixed in the air, raw and heavy. No tracks, no abandoned tents, not even an article of clothing. It was as if the ground itself refused to give back the missing. But then, faint echoes. A local hiker claimed to hear distant screams. Was it real hope, or the forest playing tricks on desperate minds? Their names became household words. The Lost Five appeared on every news broadcast. Theories spun out of control. Social media thrummed with speculation. Some wondered if the five had simply run away, while others whispered darker tales of cults, secret societies, or brutal crime. For the grieving families, the online frenzy only deepened the wound. Answers drifted further out of reach. As the weeks stretched, hope receded. But the wild, it seemed, was not finished yet. Ava refused to give up. She quit her job, hiring private investigators, pouring herself into the endless search. Trail maps covered her walls. She set foot on every known path within 50 miles, calling out for Leo and his friends until her voice broke. Days turned to months, months into years. Vigils marked anniversaries, the missing honored while the world outside moved on. Among the endless waiting, no clue ever surfaced, until the drone footage shattered silence. July, 5 years after their disappearance, sunlight pierced the trees as Alex Vance sent his drone sailing above Devil's Gulch, a blind and perilous valley known more for legends than hikers. Reviewing his footage back in a remote cabin, Alex's breath caught. An unnatural splash of blue, a forgotten tent tangled in vines, and, faintly, through the mist, a collapsed shack with smoke trailing up. He hurried to deliver the evidence to park officials, hearts pounding with cautious hope. Was this the break that everyone needed, or another mirage in a sea of broken dreams? Ranger Sarah Miller, newly retired but unable to let go, studied the video. The coordinates revealed an ancient mining claim, lost to memory and overgrown, far off any marked trail. Preparations began for a dangerous descent into the gulch, a place feared by even seasoned rangers. Climbers, medics, and forensic experts descended into the shadows. The tent matched the logo from the group's last morning together. Inside, they found drawings signed by Chloe, Ben's lucky charm, and cryptic signs that the group had spent time there. But no bodies, and no clear answers. In the collapsed mine entrance was freshly disturbed dirt, a sign that someone, not long ago, had forced their way inside. Whatever happened next would rewrite every theory the search had ever produced. Investigators crept deeper into the mine's tunnels. Damp stone corridors echoed with every movement. One passage showed unmistakable signs of shelter, canned food, dried leaves shaped into crude beds. On the wall, a message scrawled in fading ink. Leo, Ben, Sam, Chloe, Maya, help us. Journal pages chronicled desperate days. Avalanche blocked the pass. Fell into gulch. Injuries bad. No way out. Weather records confirmed the truth. A surprise September storm had dropped snow, trapping the group in the valley below. What the journals did not reveal was even more chilling. After 47 days, the notes ended. On the last page, voices outside. Miners. Help. The message in Chloe's distinct handwriting twisted everything into even deeper mystery. A story of survival was morphing into something far darker. Blood-stained bandages in the shadows matched Chloe's rare type, AB negative, a detail only her medical records would know. But where had the group gone? Why did their story stop so suddenly? And who, exactly, were those voices echoing through the old mines? The search shifted toward local legends, gold-hunting squatters, outlaws hiding from the law. Old-timers recounted rumors of secret encampments, disappearances, even whispers of makeshift prisons hidden in the Cascades. A series of clues led teams to an abnormally constructed barricade, evidence of defense against something or someone outside. Ash piles from fires dated back to the very month the group vanished. Their struggle had lasted far longer than anyone first guessed. Forensics found the remains of 3 shallow graves, bones fragile from time and deprivation. Dental records confirmed the worst fears. Leo, Ben, and Sam had died in the mines, buried by their own friends. But Chloe and Maya were still missing. Had they been saved, or escaped into another kind of nightmare? Entries in the logbook painted a picture of terror. After day 47, 2 men found us, took S and M, said they'd get help. Leo says no trust. The next entry stopped mid-sentence, a frantic scrawl trailing off into space. Investigators uncovered a crude lean-to outside the gulch, scattered with cigarette butts matching a poacher's brand, along with fragments of a worn map leading through cave networks north of Devil's Gulch. Inside one cave, a pile of canned food, a blonde-haired brush, and a journal. They won't let us leave. G and N watch us, planning to run. Pray we make it. Tears stained the pages, the last signs of life before the final escape attempt. Nearby, 2 more bodies, 1 male, 1 female, in shallow graves, each with gunshot wounds. Ballistics matched the revolver to a known local drifter, Grant Fisher, and his elusive partner, Nora Sykes. It seemed the relationship between captor and captive had shattered, leaving new mysteries in its wake. But street camera footage near an old mill revealed 2 exhausted figures limping along, their faces hidden but their gaits unmistakable. Had Chloe and Maya finally broken free, or were they about to vanish for good? A break surfaced. A Jane Doe in Spokane, discovered wandering, speechless, disoriented and alone. DNA confirmed the impossible. This was Chloe Dean, found alive, but shattered by years lost in the wild. Ava, heart in her throat, rushed to the care facility, showing Chloe the old group photo. For a beat, Chloe's gaze lingered on Maya's face, and she finally whispered her lost friend's name. With this new lead, the search for Maya erupted, desperate and determined. Chloe's muteness slowly faded as she remembered fragments of their ordeal. The question remained: had Maya survived the escape? Following the clues, a trapper spotted a lone woman near a remote river, a rusted canoe marked MG, Maya Grant. The trail led to a crumbling cabin stocked with supplies, and beneath a mound of stones, a faded diary in Maya's handwriting. Her entries told the rest of the story. Made it to the river, Chloe hurt bad, left her at a road, kept going, alone now. October 10th. Cold, lost, help me. Nearby, Maya's fragile remains were found, a testament to her fight for life, but also a heartbreaking end. She had survived the escape, but not the wild. In the aftermath, survivors and families mourned and remembered. Ava visited Chloe each week, their bond reforged through pain and recovery. The authorities pieced together the ordeal: a deadly avalanche, forced captivity, escape in the chaos of a storm.
Grant and Nora's twisted ambitions, illegal mining, violence, had cost the group everything. The women were worked like slaves, and the men murdered. Chloe's broken wrist and Maya's final, desperate trek became personal symbols of endurance. The revelations didn't stop there. From a raided poacher camp, a revolver with the same ballistics as the mine discovered. From a storage unit in Bellingham, gold nuggets, a ledger of sales, and a photo. Grant, Nora, and two blurred survivors, possibly Chloe and Maya, enduring captivity well over a year. These findings sparked public outrage, forcing officials to crack down on illegal activity throughout the park. Echoes of the Lost, a non-profit founded by Ava, grew, funding new search tech and ranger patrols. The trauma lived on, but hope drove forward. Time passed, but whispers continued. Chloe, now in recovery, started a blog documenting her journey. Her haunting sketches of tunnels, caves, and solitary landscapes drew the public into the tale. A mysterious footprint near Maya's last hideout hinted that someone else might have been out there, watching, waiting, perhaps even hunting for the same hidden riches or dark secrets as Grant and Nora. Was the story truly over, or did the shadows of the Cascades hold new questions, just waiting to be asked? Ava and Chloe returned to Crystal Basin, scattering Maya's ashes by moonlight, saying goodbye, yet feeling the trembling presence of all they had lost. Weeks later, a silver locket, a final gift from Maya, surfaced in a cave, along with a scrap of paper. If found, tell them I tried. East Ridge Cabin. The message led the team to an abandoned cabin and one last diary. Weak. Heard voices. Hid here on the last page, a sketched map, a plea for safety, and a photo with Maya's face left untouched. Investigators pressed on, following every last clue. A spent revolver shell, a footprint, a shadow moving through mist. Did someone else survive? Or is the gulch just that? A place where stories lurk at the edge of sense. The plaque at Easy Pass Trailhead bore all 5 names, becoming a pilgrimage for those seeking closure or new legends. One evening, Ava received an anonymous letter from Spokane. A clipping of Maya's photo and a chilling note. She was brave. I saw. No signature. No clue. No closure. The North Cascades keep their secrets, and the wild heart of the mountains beats on. If this journey into survival and mystery has gripped your heart, subscribe and stay tuned. More tales from the edge of the wild await. But for Ava, Chloe, and everyone who loved the Lost Five, the fight goes on. Who else, if anyone, is still out there, hiding in the shadows? Only time will tell.